Just a quick tutorial on setting up your Hardhat configuration file so that it connects to different networks, be that test network or main networks. First off, the Hardhat is the development environment that we compile and deploy, test and debug all of our Ethereum smart contracts and dApps. So anybody that's currently using that will have in their application a file called Hardhat.js, and in there this is what you may well be presented with, or nothing at all. So I'm going to do this a little bit of a different way, purely because I don't like the idea of my APIs for Alchemy or Infura being placed in the config file. I would sooner use a .env, so perhaps you're not set up to do that, and I will try to show you that right now. So basically what you'll need to do is also add this to your package.json, and you can do that simply by copying this and changing, if you already have installations in your packages, just change the I to add, ADD, so it would be npm add.env, and let that run in your folder for your particular project. Once it's run, you will see something along the lines of, in your package file, you'll see it added here. So I'm using the 16 version, which is the latest version. And so once you've added that and it's installed, just go ahead and add in the file .env into the root directory. And if you also haven't, just make sure that you add in this into your git ignore. So in this case I like to add a few different examples, but definitely make sure the .env is in your git ignore, because you don't want to be pushing that information, and that is why I choose to also not show it in the Hardhat config. So for me, once I've set that up, this is how I pull in the information from the .env file for the Alchemy or whatever API key you choose, and this is how it works for me. So I've just added in the networks, the ROSPA network. You add in the RPC URL. So in this case I've added the RPC directly into the truffle, and then I've asked it to calling the process, the env file for the Alchemy API key. Now when you set up your env document, this is the Alchemy API key, so you're going to want it to look like this: Alchemy API key equals, and then go to your Alchemy or your Infura. If it was the Infura, you would have another one that just simply said Infura API key, and you would drop your API key in directly after the equals sign, and that would be ample enough. And then you have a private key. So there's a couple of ways you can bring that in. You can bring it in this style directly, so the accounts knows to process a private key equals, and then the other way you could do that is, rather than processing the private key, you could do it just by calling it this way, or even better, you could simply print out private key, and up the top pull in const private key equals process. So basically you won't need to keep writing those if you chose to do it this way. But there's a couple of different ways to get that set up and working. I've just run some of my own contracts on this initial build, so I know that these are working. And yeah, the marker at the bottom, it's not necessary, but I've added that in. And again, you may like to add in different chain IDs, so you'll at a glance can see them a little bit better. But other than that, that's the finishing of that. So just make sure that you have your .env pulling in the information that it's asking for, and then your Hardhat confirming that as well, and that will get you connected.